This is The Sport, an open and honest conversation about life and love and everything in between with me, STL Yamumo. Hey, what's up, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Sport podcast where we have open and honest conversation. And today, I have my coffee. It's just the right temperature, sipping some coffee for some awesome conversation. But first things first, my set today looks absolutely amazing. This is, we're shooting at Kamunge Original Studios. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. And the crew, manze, amazing. So if you're looking to have yourself a podcast, record a podcast, or do an amazing photo shoot, or record a music video, record anything that you want, visuals, audios, Kamunge Originals got you. Kamunge Original Studios got you. So manze, hit them up, check them out on their social media pages. And you know what? Come through, have some fun, have some pictures taken, and get to enjoy yourself. Yes, my coffee is set, so I suggest that pia wewe pale ulipo, get yourself some coffee, some iced tea, and let's have this conversation, because I'm telling you, my guest today is, he's amazing. He's an incredible artist, an incredible songwriter, and an amazing storyteller. So sit on tight and let's have this conversation. Yes, my guest for today, it's none other than Pitson Prt. Mambo vipi? Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Thank you so much.
Unajua, one of the things I learned about you in your ilini interest was the fact that me and you, we have a common thing.
Okay.
Sisi wote tumetoka. We have a background in Juja Boys.
Ngala?
Wala Juja Boys, it's JKUAT.
You studied in JKUAT?
Yes, imagine.
Okay.
Media in JKUAT.
Oh,
how?
Nice.
But yes, here we are.
Okay, here we are, Juja Boys. At least hatuna vumbi sahi.
Manzi, vumbi. Memories za Juja Boys ni gani?
I don't know, food, cheap food. Vumbi. Uzuri hakuna kunguni.
Yeah, but Hall 6 ilikuwa na kunguni.
But thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Your intro yako iko na pressure.
Iko na pressure.
As a storyteller, now I feel like I need to tell a story.
We're just here kuchapa story, and then just to get to know about you, but also most importantly kuchapa story.
It's okay, it'll flow.
It'll flow.
Yeah.
So yes, would love to hear from you. Comment below. Ensure that you get to subscribe and leave a comment as well. And tell a friend to tell a friend, your family, friends. Kila mtu mbogi yote ikam through kwa The Sport. See ya? Pitson.
Yeah.
The first time I heard about you was after you did the song Wanajua.
Yeah.
I was like, what? This is so true, so real, relatable, and says on unaanza kufeel, okay, unachekingi a pastor in the bars, kwa streets, and you're like, okay, it's actually true. But story yako inaanza wapi? Tuambie, take us way back.
I'm an alumni of Pumwani Maternity. Nilizaliwa Pumwani Maternity, and I was born in Isli, raised in Isli, place in 11th Street.
Okay.
Isli then was not as people know it now. Now there are street lights, there are buildings, it's a business center. So then it was an estate, very well organized. Kuna First Street, karibu huku Juja, Mlango Kubwa, Juja Road, then inaenda hivyo 2nd Street, 3rd Street, so mine was 11th Street, karibu na what we call garage or KBS. Now those names don't exist anymore, but that was where I was born. Isli, we call it a leafy suburb.
Wow.
It's a leafy suburb. It's a leafy suburb because there is plenty of Mira. Mira ni mob. And that's how Isli is a leafy suburb. So when I was growing up, there was a lot of drugs available. Mira was like, you could get Mira like this. By the grace of God, I never tried all that.
Okay.
As a child, I went to Muslim primary school, and there we hata kwa, you know, kwa assembly venye watu imba Christian songs, so me I sang Muslim songs.
Because the area predominantly
Yes,
iko na lot
was
of Muslim.
So my primary school was Muslim. The songs we sang during assembly were all Muslim. So I know Muslim songs. I know the national anthem for Somalia.
Okay.
And that was my environment growing up. So I grew up, went to Isli High School for my high school. Yani sijatoka hiyo area. I mean, the whole of my schooling was in that area.
Okay.
Then, by the grace of God, I went to a school called Kenya School of Professional Studies for my law. And then I went to JKUAT for business. And then worked at the bank.
Okay.
And then left the bank for music. And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah. Nimeruka vitu mob sana.
Umeruka vitu mob,
Yeah.
but what memories do you have of, you know, life here, the leafy suburbs? Na karibu kahawa.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The things I remember most growing up is that I was always a naughty child. And I came up with my own philosophy, which can be proven or not, which says, naughty children, good teenagers. Good children, naughty teenagers. You and hivyo. Because my elder brother was a good child. Yeye akivalishwa white, jioni itakuwa white. Then, as a teenager, he gave my parents a headache. I was the naughty child. There is no naughty thing children can do that I didn't do. Then I was a good teenager. It went like that.
And then later on you became
a bad adult. And then a good adult. So my life has ups and downs, and we'll talk about that. But my memories as a child growing up was, first of all, Muslim primary school, just singing they're called Twahida. Mtu nyumbani nyumbani. And the imam as a child asks that, and the whole school says, Allah, kwenda kusalia taki, Allah, angojea siku ya mauti asaliwe na masherehe. Those are the songs we sang. And one would expect maybe tunaimba Christian songs. We sang Muslim songs, but sikuslimu. Because home, and maybe we'll get to talk about that, my family was very, very strong in the things of the Lord.
As a matter of fact, you're a PK, a pastor's
I'm a PK,
kid.
I'm a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
So at home, we used to have Bible study. At home, we would sing worship songs and hymns. Sometimes Kikuyu, sometimes English, sometimes Swahili. But my father made sure that before he reaches out to the world, he's reached out to his children. And that's what made us strong.
Wow.
The other memory I have, of course, is music. Joining the worship team as a very 11-year-old. We had benches, so my feet could not even step on the floor. Ilikuwa inahang hivi kwa bench, but I can see.
Wow.
Worship leader for my Sunday school. Unajua, churches don't do this anymore, but kitambo ilikuwa Sunday school wanaitwa mbele wana perform.
Yeah.
If the mics are few, you have to give the mics to the superstars. So I was one of those who qualified.
Ulikuwa superstar back then.
To hold a mic.
Wow.
So that was my life. Then now my journey, life is not about what you land at or the destination. It's the things, it's the stories, it's the things you face daily and the lessons you draw out of them. Yeah.
Okay, and talking about lessons, Labda, before we get to talking about you studying law and finance,
right?
Living in a community whereby a majority of the people are Muslims and you're a Christian,
Yeah.
Labda, what are some of the things that you saw in the Muslim community that you as a Christian you admire?
I think the togetherness, there is a lot of unity. Then what I admire and what I would like to try with my children is the fact that they were taught as little children the Quran. They would memorize it. Young child in class 3 knows the Quran, knows the stories of the Quran. Here, we think mtoi wangu ata understand story ya Moses ama story ya David na Goliath. Mtoi akiwa a teenager ama in class, whatever class, they understand diameter, radius, circumference, mitochondria or whatever, monocotyledon, dicotyledon. They understand that, but we think they won't understand the story of the cross.
And over the years tumekuwa tukisomewa Bible. We go to church, the pastor, the priest atasoma Bible, and the rest of us will, listen.
The least you can do with kids is to at least tell them as if it was a story.
Okay.
They'll understand the meaning later, but tell them as if it was a story first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your schooling, quite interesting,
Yeah.
bearing the fact that you are a superstar in the church. Yani ulikuwa na hold the microphone.
Sunday school superstar.
Someone would not think you
Yeah.
will do law, you will do finance. What inspired that line?
In life, you're inspired by two things. You're either running away from something
Or running towards something.
or running towards something. It's called the pull and push.
Okay.
You're either being pulled or being pushed. For me, I was running away from something. I didn't like the life we had because we were very poor, extremely poor. Up until I was 12 years old, our room was one room EV. And that's where we survived with both my parents and 2 of my siblings. So watu wawili, wazazi na watoto watatu. And the room is one, there's a stove, a mattress, and 2 stools.
Wow.
And my father was a street preacher for the longest time until now the Lord blessed him with a place where guys can gather. But for the longest time, he was preaching in the streets, in the matatus. I've told that story several times. I hated that life. The life where we would go to watch TV in other people's houses. And I saw Blue Band, things like Blue Band, things that people apply on bread. I saw that in our neighbor's house. Things people put in tea, things like cocoa, things like chocolate. And for some people, that's obvious. But for us, it was, wow, people actually put stuff, peanut butter on bread. Those are things we saw in our neighbors' houses. We could never afford that kind of life. Then, of course, schooling. I loved school. Even with our problems, I would still perform very well in school. But then, school fees. Unagonga tu hii wall. Pa! Unafukuzwa. I hated that life, and I didn't want that life. I said, one day, you know what? I'd like to come out of poverty. And I worked so hard. And I think growing up, teachers told us, if you work hard enough, if you're passing your exams, then you won't be poor. So I said, oh, if I study, I won't be poor. So I studied like crazy. But I was running away from something.
Yeah.
And that was my motivation. I didn't like what I was seeing. It wasn't a cup of tea. There was love and everything, but then there was the power of choice was completely crushed. You eat what you can afford. You eat what is available. And so I was running away from that. So I said, you know what? I will work so hard. I will study books and I will read novels and I will read the newspaper, whatever I can get my hands on to read, I will read and make myself better. Yeah.
Wow. I'm thinking in my head that coming from such a background whereby you're lacking the basic things, and knowing that you're this prayerful family and God is the provider of everything. Yet you're praying so hard, but yet you lack the basic thing. So how was your belief?
It was totally affected. Thank you for that question. Totally affected. I hated the idea of God because I couldn't understand. Where we were growing up, My best friend's father was a doctor.
Okay.
They had just transferred from Machakos to Nairobi, and so they were settling down. And so before sasa daktari ajipate-pate, they stayed in his leave for a while. And so he became my friend. I could see the son of a doctor afford basic things. Shoes, viatu za Christmas, nguo za Christmas, vitu za Christmas. My other best friend's father was an accountant in Mombasa. They lived in Isli. I could see them afford basic stuff. My father was working for the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, this person he called all faithful, all knowing, all present God, who couldn't afford a bike for me. I didn't understand that. And I struggled with it until much later in life, when now things, and if we have time, we'll talk about it. Now things became clear who God is. He's not some guy up in the sky who spoils people with bikes and whatever. And I understood the journey he was taking us as a family through. Now it made sense. And so I struggled with this idea of God until I got to a place where now it made
The process.
the process. Yeah.
Okay, and on that very awesome bit, I know you're eagerly waiting to get to hear the story unfold, ujue kuliendaje, but that's why we wrap up part 1. So subscribe, come back again for part 2. Pitson is right here, so we'll be back after, in the next part. Yeah.